Trigger warning. This episode includes discussions about mental health struggles, grief, loss of a child, and thoughts of suicide. Listener discretion is advised. If you are struggling, please call or text 988. Welcome to another stirring episode of Advancing with Amy, where we explore the profound journeys individuals embark on through their mental health struggles and triumphs. Today we're joined by the remarkable Alma, a 3-year stroke survivor, ordained minister, author, and motivational speaker. In this episode, Alma shares her deeply personal and powerful story about coping with the tragic loss of her son, battling her own severe health issues, and facing the stigmatization of seeking mental health support in the Black community. Through her testimony, Alma addresses the critical need for professional therapy and mental health resources within cultural and religious contexts that often shun such practices. Prepare to be moved and inspired as Alma discusses her process of healing and how she uses her experiences to empower others to seek the help they need and deserve. Join us as Alma courageously tells her story, offering hope and insight to anyone facing their darkest moments. We're talking with Alma, and she is going to talk to us about mental health in the Black community. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself first, though?
Okay, I'm an ordained minister. I'm an author. I'm a motivational speaker and a 3-year stroke survivor.
How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. The physical therapist said that I'm making some more progress in my legs, so I am just trusting the process.
Yeah, that's all you can do. I'm so glad you're doing well. So tell us a little bit about your mission.
My mission is in 2009, my son passed away. And after his death, I was in a dark place. And even though I was a minister and I was preaching to other people silently, I was suffering inside because typically in the Black community as a whole and in the Black church, they look down on therapy. They think that if you attend church and they slap some oil on you, that you're going to be okay. And then people that have to take mental health meds, they deem them as crazy or possessed by the devil. And you begin to wonder, I can't tell anybody this. I can't tell anybody the thoughts that I'm having because on April 17th was his first birthday in heaven. And I was thinking natural as a mother. And I was like, I wonder if my grandmother is giving my son a birthday party in heaven today. And I decided that nobody could celebrate your child's birthday better than you. So I said, today's the day I'm going to go and be with my son. And I poured all my high blood pressure pills into my hand and I was going to take them. I had lifted my hand to my mouth and I heard a still voice say, if you do it, you won't see him again. So I put down the pills and that was the day that I decided that I couldn't just survive, but I had to give myself permission to live again and that I had to talk to someone, that everyone at church, ministers and priests are not equipped to handle many of the mental problems that people have. And because they're not equipped, there's some that are therapists and can talk you through your trauma and your triggers, but then most are not. They haven't been educated. They've just been called by God, but that doesn't settle every solution. There's sometimes, not that God needs help, but God gave us therapists and doctors. It's like it's all right in African American community for you to be on high blood pressure pills or diabetic pills. But when you talk about the doctor said I need depression pills or anxiety pills, people tell you you're not depressed. You're walking around, you're functioning, you're not depressed, but you don't know how I feel inside. You don't know that I'm suffering in silence. And I decided that it's okay not to be okay and to go and speak to a therapist. And that therapist was able to talk me through my stages of grief, and I was okay. But after I had my stroke, I was having really high anxiety. I had pictures, I believe I was falling out of bed. Every time they would try to change me, I would yell and scream. And that just wasn't me. So once again, I had to ask them at the rehab, I need to talk to someone. And it was decided that I needed to be put on anxiety medication because my anxiety was hindering my healing.
Has that helped?
But yeah,
Oh, good. Boy, it sounds like there was a lot of shame and kind of like embarrassment almost by needing help. And you got through that. You must be such a strong woman. Did you tell your church friends that you were seeking help?
yes, like every time I testified, I said it's okay not to be okay. And I talked about it on Facebook and let other people know that you don't have to suffer in silence. You see a lot of ministers and pastors committing suicide because they don't feel like they have a way out. They feel vulnerable, like they don't have anyone to talk to, anyone that understands because of the taboo of mental health in our community. But that's why there's so many people walking around the streets that have mental health conditions that they should be on medication, but because of the way that they were raised or the way that people view mental health in the African American community, no one wants to say that I'm on medicine. No one wants to say that I'm speaking to a therapist or a psychologist, whatever you needed. But I decided that I needed someone to talk to, and I didn't care what people thought about me. And that's the same reason why people say, well, why are you on podcasts and things and you're laying in your bed and you can't move, you're bedridden? It's because I want people to see the real me, the real things that I went through and I bounced back. Like I compare my life to that clown at the carnival. Clown that you throw the ball at it and you think that you won, you think that you knocked the clown out, and you're just getting ready to reach for your grand prize when all of a sudden that clown bounces back up again. And they put something in that clown that makes it bounce back. Well, I have something in me that every time I'm knocked down and you think that I'm knocked out, that I bounce back from it because I feel like the worst thing that I could have went through in life is burying my only child. So everything
Yeah.
else that happens is pale comparison to burying your child. So everything that happens, I bounce back from it. It's just like I I don't, it's like we complain about the weather, right? We complain about, oh, it's snowing, oh, it's cold, but it's nothing we can do about it. It's, if it's gonna snow, it's gonna snow. So the fact that my right side has been affected is weaker than my left side, I embrace the things that I cannot do and accept the things that I embrace the things I can do and accept the things I can't do. And I accentuate the things that I can do. I thank God that I still have my cognitive skills and my language skills because most people that had a stroke as bad as I did, their cognitive skills and their language skills are affected, but mine wasn't affected. So I can still encourage people and inspire people just by my life. When you look at the things that I've been through and I survived them, you can too. That the
Yeah,
things that you're going and how you perceive them, you can either be better or bitter. You have the choice. You can choose, even on your darkest day, you can choose to see the light in it.
I love that. You can be better or bitter. I'm going to use that. So tell me, what was the reception like from your church family when you did start talking about that?
That they understood because of everything that I went through. That when you look at it, you say, honestly, if I had have went through half of what she went through, I would have needed somebody to talk to. And they understood that there was nobody in the church that was equipped to tell me anything because number one, they were grieving also. You know, he was a member of the church also, so they were grieving, and it's nothing. It's like when you're going through, you know a lot of things, but you don't want to hear it. Like when people say, "Oh, he's in a better place," and you're thinking in your mind, "Well, why don't your child go to the better place and you tell me how good that place is?" Or you could have another. You can never replace, even if you have another child, you can never replace what you've lost. So a lot of times people say things that at the time they're saying it, they're trying to be positive and they're trying to encourage you, but what they're saying you can't accept at the moment because you're going through, you're missing your child. You understand, but you're missing that we're not on this earth to stay forever, but you're missing your child, not seeing your child. Your circle was broken. After the funeral, everybody goes home to the same old, but your circle is forever broken.
Yeah, I would imagine that nobody could understand unless they had been a parent who lost a child as well.
Right.
Yeah. Well, you have a beautiful testimony that you've been able to survive such a struggle. Have you heard back from anyone that you've helped? Because I would imagine you've helped a lot of people.
Yes, I talk to people that I help all the time because, and it's not just with losing a child. You find that you go through the stages of grief with the loss of anything, the loss of a relationship, the loss of a limb. So I encourage people by telling them that I'm here to listen because when you're going through that, you don't want to hear anything. You just want somebody to listen to you and understand that they've been where you are and that they're on the other side. So if I made it to the other side, you can make it to the other side. That in
Exactly.
and I don't people want to tell you that with time you forget. No, I tell them that you'll never forget that on birthdays and other occasions, sometimes you just look at one of their friends and what they're accomplishing, and you think about what your child could have accomplished or would have accomplished, and you cry. So it is no set time on grieving. Don't let anyone tell you there's an expiration date because people don't know how to deal with it. So they just don't want to talk about it. But it gets easier to deal with. You learn how to live through it, but you don't forget. It's been 15 years since my son passed away, and his birthday is coming up. His his death day was February 13th. I remember that day. On that day, I usually cry. I usually do a tribute to him. But it gets easier to live through. You don't get stagnated in any one stage once you go through the proper stages of grief. And you have to learn to know that you fluctuate from denial to bargaining to anger until you finally get to acceptance. And you have to accept your life the way it is now
Yeah.
without that person.
Do you feel like speaking out about this has been therapeutic for you as well?
Yes, because in the beginning, when he first passed away, I couldn't even say his name. All pictures that I had of him, I had put them all away because I couldn't even stand to look at his picture.
That's heartbreaking.
But now I look at his picture, I post them on Facebook. I have a picture of his gravesite on my Facebook page. So now talking about it has made it easier for me to talk about the memories I have of him.
Right. And you can probably talk about some of the good memories and feel some good things.
Yes, he was an amazing young man. As a matter of fact, there was over 1,500 people at his funeral. The church was packed, the parking lot was packed, the basement. You couldn't even get in there to stand. It wasn't even standing room, and it wasn't because of me, but it was because of him that people called. First of all, when you have a young person pass away, you don't have insurance for them. You're not thinking that you have to bury them. You're thinking they're gonna bury you. Well, my community, my support system, my friends, the community, everyone got together and they raised over $10,000 in 2 days. No GoFundMe paid. They just raised people giving their vacation money they had saved to buy a house. They were just donating it. The funeral home, after people was calling them and saying what a wonderful young man he was, the funeral home took off every cost that they would have made. He only charged us on what he had to pay out.
Wow.
So even in your darkest day, you see the hand of God because never before have I seen people raise $10,000 in 2 days. I had to tell people to stop giving me money.
Oh
I
my.
don't need any more money. We have it because I'm like money can't bring my son back, so I'm
Right.
not exploiting people. Excited about what they're doing and what they're sacrificing. So as soon as I got the money that would the funeral home needed, I stopped all donations.
Wow. I gotta say, I got chills just thinking about the community coming together like that is incredible. Are you still involved with that church?
Yes, I still
Okay.
teach Bible study at that church. My friends that were in charge of the fundraising and whatever, we're still very good friends. The local delis got together and did the food for the repast. So I didn't have to worry about anything. My friends and my family, they went and to identify his body. They went to make sure that everything was all right. That day, all I had to do was attend the funeral.
Wow.
That
So
everything leading up to it, the community and my friends and family did.
I'm so glad you had such a outpouring of love. What would you say to someone that's going through something similar and feels like they can't speak about what they're going through or seek help?
That don't let the views of society stop you from getting the help you need. Be like the woman in the Bible with the issue of blood. that tradition and everything would have stopped her from touching Jesus' garment, but she wanted help so bad that she didn't care about tradition. She didn't care about legalism. That's what you have to do when you need help, and don't feel ashamed. It's not taboo to need help. It's not nothing bad on you. Sometimes we just need to talk to somebody, and sometimes you need the medication to regulate those emotions.
Yeah, I agree. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming on today. Is there anything else you want to put out there today for our listeners?
I just want to tell the listeners that no matter what situation or circumstance they find themselves in, what storm that they're going through, no storm lasts forever, that the storm is going to end. Nothing that you're going through doesn't have an expiration date. Don't give up, don't give in, and don't give out. That hold on to your dreams and your purpose, that I know that there's a light at the end of the tunnel, because before I had my stroke, I have written 2 books and a number of anthologies. After having my stroke, with just one hand and a determination and a motivation to tell my testimony, I wrote 2 books. One's a Bible study book, and one is against having a stroke, surviving a stroke against all odds, a book and a healing journal, that the scriptures that I use along my healing journey to keep me uplifted and to increase my faith. So I know that when you have a purpose and a that God has a purpose and a plan for each and every one of us. And sometimes we take twists and we take turns, but we will get to the destination. So anybody who has a dream, I don't care if you want to go back to school, you want to write a book, write a song, and you rock those dreams to sleep thinking that you'll never have them. Well, I double dog dare you to dream again.
Oh, that's beautiful. So, where can we find you and your books?
You can find me on Facebook, revamping my website, so I'll be able to sell my books on there. So you can look for that in about 3 weeks. My website will be up and running. So it's on Facebook. It's Facebook Alma Thomas, and Instagram 830.
Okay, great. And I'll make sure I put all that in the show notes. And by the time I put this out, because it'll be about a month before I put this out, I will be able
Okay.
to put your website on there as well.
Okay, great.
All right. Well, thank you so much for taking time to come and just share your story with us today.
Thank you for having me and allowing me to be transparent and share my testimony with you.
Oh, thank you. All right. I hope you have a great weekend.
I hope you do too.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. That's a wrap on this incredibly powerful episode with Alma. If Alma's story resonated with you, or if you know someone who might find comfort and inspiration in her words, don't hesitate to share this episode. It's stories like hers that can spark change and comfort to those in need. Also, consider connecting with Alma on social media to follow her journey and updates. You can find her on Facebook under Alma Thomas and on Instagram at Alma Thomas 830. She's not just a source of inspiration, she's a beacon of hope and resilience. And if you enjoyed our conversation today, please subscribe to our podcast and share this episode with friends, family, or anyone you feel could benefit from this powerful testimony. Each share and subscription helps us reach more people and expand the conversation about mental health and resilience. Thank you all for tuning in, and remember, no storm lasts forever. Keep pushing through, keep shining, and keep advancing, warriors. In today's episode with Alma, we touched on incredibly powerful themes about the struggles and triumphs of mental health, particularly in the context of grief and recovery. If Alma's story resonated with you, or if you find yourself facing similar challenges, remember you're not alone. Help is just a call or text away. You can reach out to the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline by dialing or texting 988. It's a free resource that connects you to compassionate, trained counselors who are ready to listen and help 24/7. Don't hesitate to reach out. It's okay to not be okay, and seeking help is a courageous step towards healing.